everyone. My name is Marcus Alston. I am the host of the Mindful Athletes podcast. Today, we are joined by Ruben Hyppolite, football player at University of Maryland. How you doing, Ruben?
I'm all good. Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to this conversation. I know we've had some conversations previously, but we really haven't talked too much about mental health. So I'm really excited to learn more about your journey, and you know how it kind of ties into mental health. So just starting out, Ruben, can you provide us just a quick background on maybe what led you to becoming a football player, your love for, or where did your love for football inspired, and maybe if you could share if you maybe experienced some mental health challenges throughout your career. Would just kind of love to hear about your journey and kind of what led you to University of Maryland.
Yeah, for sure. Well, for starters, anytime I tell this story, people are surprised, but I didn't like football at all, like coming up. But my father, he would continue to put me in and sign me up to play little league ball, and I would just dread it every time that he signed me up for it. But it was around sixth grade where I took it upon myself to sign up to play football for my school, for my middle school that I was at. And then from that point on, I just took it around with it. I was just naturally gifted at the game, and I, just wasn't gonna deny that anymore. And I just like, what, like this is what I want to do. Like I'm going to do it. I'm going to give my all in it, and then like we're going to see where this takes me. And then obviously that led me to having a great high school career, getting scholarship offers, and getting an opportunity to come to school for free, and not have my mother or parents pay for school, which is a blessing. And that was a promise that I made to them. So that's just, a little background about my football journey. As far as mental health goes, it was a lot of ups and downs during, my football career so far, I would say. But the biggest thing that, I guess I faced was me being injured last season. Last season was a season where, I was, looking to put it all together and hopefully, come out in this past year's draft, but, it didn't happen. So, just coming back this year for my senior season, I'll be graduating in the fall, so I'm looking forward to that at the end of the fall. So I'm looking forward to that, and then I'm also looking forward to this season. I'm just putting it all together, coming back stronger, healthier, faster, bigger, just more in tune with my body, and just more in tune with the game, and just putting my product on the field, and then letting the cards fall where they may, just controlling what I can control. And then just doing my best and letting God handle the rest. I think, when it comes to mental health, that's the biggest thing, just, being able to control the controllables. And then, all the outside noise and all the outside effects, they're always going to do what they want to do. But it's all about what you can do and how you control your environment and where you're at. That makes the biggest difference. So,
well said. Definitely some wise words. I know you list a lot of different things there. Is there like one thing specifically that you're looking to like improve on in your game this upcoming season?
I think I just want to be a more complete linebacker. Just put it on tape that I can play special teams effectively. I can stop the run effectively. I can also play in space and play the pass effectively. I have a lot of speed, so I want to showcase that. And that's about it. Just want to, really complete my portfolio of film and just, put my best product out there. And, just, continue to be the most well-prepared, player on the field. I just want to showcase that.
I love that, man. Do you mind taking me back, going back to high school? How did University of Maryland come to be? I just love to kind of see how, were they in contact with you like when you were underclassmen? I would love to kind of learn more about how you ended up a Terp.
Yeah, being well, I decided to go to Maryland because there wasn't a lot of individuals committing there, and there wasn't a lot of people, talking about it. So I heard about Maryland I had a coach who recruited me at UAB. His name was Brian Williams. And then he came to my school, extended an offer to me, and then ended up getting the job to coach. I think it was outside linebacker at the time at Maryland. But he recruits, the Florida area. So it was a culmination of that. And then plus the coach I was getting recruited by at Maryland, my position coach, he left, I think, like the month I was about to enroll. So, Coach, Brian Williams, I call him B-Dub. But when he, called me up, showed me my new position coach, and, he was still, encouraged that I can, be one of the faces of this program at Maryland. And then on top of that, Coach Locke's vision and what he wanted to get done for the program. And, me being the face of that and starting something different. That's what I'm all about, being a trendsetter and just stepping out on faith and just letting my ability that I've been blessed with take its course and, make something positive out of something that's, not looked upon as, a great program or a great place to develop. I just wanted to change all that, be a big fish in a little pond. So that was, the whole backstory behind me committing there and, taking my talents over there.
I love that, man. I don't know if I ever told you this story. So my first collegiate football game, shoot, man, I think this was probably like 2001, 2002, was actually at University of Maryland in College Park when they had Coach Friedgen. And I know at that point in time, like Maryland football was like a pretty big deal. And then I know they had some down seasons, but man, like I just from the outside looking in, I really want to commend Coach Loxley. I don't really know what his vision entails, but it just shows you like his vision is working because now Maryland football is relevant. And like to you being like a trendsetter, I hope that, when you look back on your time at Maryland, when you see Maryland, competing, and maybe in the playoff, because, they got the 12-team playoff coming up soon where Maryland's a consistent, top 25 team. I hope you are able to look back on that and just be proud of yourself that, you were one of those people that helped push, it forward. Because my grandfather, he was a diehard Maryland football fan, and he's not with us anymore, but I'm sure he would really love to see where, Maryland's at with everything. Sure. So that's really, really cool, man. So let me ask you this. Is there like a practice that you use? Because I'm sure I played small Division I football, so D1 AA, and obviously you're at a power conference, Power 5 conference in the Big Ten. Is there like a tool that you use to kind of manage the stress of being, an athlete at the highest level?
Well, the cliche answer will be time management. Just making sure that I take care of what I need to take care of, and just be timely at doing that. I'm very big on breathing and relaxation. So I use a technique called box breathing that I use, in pressure situations, game situations, practice situations, workout sessions, or any point in time where I'm feeling overwhelmed. I use that technique. That technique has helped me out a lot. And yeah, between time management and box breathing, I think that's like, my secret formula to, my production and my performance, just being timely with things and always making sure that, even though I'm scheduling, things to get done, everything's not going to be perfect. I got to still be able to adjust and to perform as well. So I think just, a combination of those two things is what helps me be at my best and at my peak at all times.
I love that, man. I love box breathing as well. Do you mind, for our listeners that aren't aware of box breathing, do you mind sharing what that is?
Yeah, so box breathing is just a breathing technique. You breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, and you breathe out for 4 seconds, and then you hold for another 4 seconds, and then you continuously do that process until the point where from an athlete's perspective, you fully recovered or you gather your second win, I would say.
Yeah.
And then from a perspective of someone who's working a job or just doing anything that is not pertaining to sports, just a relaxation technique to help recenter yourself and just gather all of your thoughts and just recalibrate yourself and just be where your feet are. I think that's that's really what that entails, and that's the best definition that I can give.
Yeah, for sure, man. And like I said, that's probably one of my favorite practices as well. It's a very easy, like grounding exercise,
Right.
essentially. Kind of going back to Coach Loxley's vision. One of my foundation sponsor, Horizon Foundation, actually has some connections with Coach Loxley. I think he was at an event a year or a year and a half ago. So it seems like mental health is something that he is open to, having those conversations. So would love to just kind of see what your experiences have been with coaches like dealing with mental health.
Yeah, Coach Locke is a big advocate of mental health. We have I think three full-term um, uh, sports psych coaches or people in the field who work in sports psych. We have three full-term individuals who work in our building. So obviously they divide up all of the sports between amongst each other. But we have three full-term individuals who are there for us as athletes to whether we need a conversation with them or dealing with things back at home or we're struggling on the field, off the field. Um, you need techniques to whether it's meditation, yoga, breathing techniques, or anything of that sort. They have all the resources available, and Coach Locks makes sure that that everything is in place for us to be at our peak and be at our best. But it's not just about on the field success. With him, it's about off the field success as well. Life after football, your physical and mental health. So he's a big advocate for that, and he just wants his players to lead the program better than they were when they arrived and when they came in. So like I said before, big advocate. He pushes mental health and he pushes the importance of it. He makes sure that we have all the resources we need to have those available for us.
It's amazing, man. It's good to hear. Not unfortunately, with smaller schools and D1, D2, unfortunately, there's not as many resources. So it's always good to hear when schools do have those resources in place. And that kind of stems to my next question: is how has the mentality of an athlete transition into your daily life?
I think being an athlete and then having the scheduling and everything translated to my daily life. I mean, I bet you've heard this before. Football is probably the closest sport to life itself. It's all about time management. It's all about being timely. It's all about being where you're supposed to be. Whether it's running a specific coverage and matching playing man, it's the same thing as being to a meeting at a specific time, and just making sure that all you get all your chores done, run all your errands, hygiene, brush your teeth, take a shower, get a haircut. It's all transactional. I feel like, and my biggest thing is how I live off the field is going to dictate how I perform on the field. Because like I said, it's always transactional. You can always tell if someone's about their business by how they live off the field. Like if they do a lot of things that won't help them succeed on the field, like it'll show on the field when they actually get on and start to play and perform or whatever the case may be. So I think being an athlete has helped me tighten up, for lack of a better term, as far as making sure that I'm sharp in all areas of my life, not just playing football, but sharp in the classroom, sharp in the corporate world whenever I'm meeting someone, or just sharp when I'm with my peers, coaches, whoever the case may be. Just always sharp and attentive at all times of my surroundings, and always being self-aware of myself too. So
I love that, man. And for me, I kind of have a similar mindset, being an entrepreneur, playing football for 15 years. Um, I'm sure you know this. Being an athlete, there's just a lot of up and downs. You get those injuries that you have to kind of persevere through. So it's essentially kind of like this roller coaster that you kind of go through. You might go on a 2 game losing streak, and then a 3 game win streak, and then you lose the rest of your games the rest of the season. So
right.
Where it's like similar in entrepreneurship, you get some traction going, you're feeling good, and you're riding that high, and then something happens, and then you're kind of right back, starting from ground zero. So I think entrepreneurship in sport, because of, like you said, those tight and rigorous schedules and everything that you have to go through, I think it really sets us up to be successful entrepreneurs. So I can very much relate to that, man. We're almost at time, Ruben. So I had 2 more questions for you. The first being, if I was, I don't know, a high school athlete, and I have the talent, but I might be struggling mentally, and maybe that mental struggle is what's kind of a roadblock for me to getting that scholarship. Would you just like have any words of advice for someone that might be struggling, that's in high school?
Yeah. In high school it's tough because it's a lot of times where the team sport may feel individualized, and there's times where, like you touched on earlier, the resources may not be there at their disposal. But one piece of advice that I would give a high schooler, struggling with, whether it's mental health or whether it's confidence, or anything like that in their sport, I would just tell them to just always be self-aware. Understand who you are as a person first. Forget the player, forget the accolades, forget the stars, forget the offers, forget who your teammates are. Like, just you always go back to who you are, and how you are as an individual. And then once you know who you are and then how you operate, you'll understand, what your purpose is. You'll understand what to do, and you'll understand how to reach those goals you want to reach. Um, and then do it, and then you'll be able to do that efficiently. I think a lot of times people, um, they compare themselves a lot to others, and what's for you will be for you, and then what's for the other person will be for the other person. Like,
Yep.
if you want to get to a point in your life, whether it's the NFL, or whether it's you want to land a big job, or a big career in the future, like, just stay diligent on what you need to do and focus on what you can control, and then the rest will be handled if you just stay disciplined and stay diligent and just keep at it, just keep going and keep going and keep going. I know that's very cliche and like everyone says it, but it's really that simple. Like, my mom, she would always tell me that life is not complex. We are as individuals. Everyone's different in their own way. So once you find out how different you are, and in what ways you're different, the life piece is easy. You can just control what you can, strengthen your strengths, and then strengthen your weaknesses as well. And then, I mean, any issue you face, you'll be able to overcome it. So
Yeah, that's very well said, man. I try to live by 2 values: consistency and persistency.
mm,
And I kind of relate that back to sport. You're very persistent because, like I said, you have those highs and lows, and you're able to work through those highs and lows to get to the top. And you're consistent because, like, you're consistently working towards that goal. Even like for me, there might be days where I might not have like the energy to, like, write a grant for the business or something like that. But like, maybe I just respond to emails that day, because I'm not feeling well. But at least I'm staying, consistent, and still,
right.
brick by brick, and eventually working towards that brick wall. But yeah, Ruben, I really, really appreciate this conversation, man. Really enjoyed it. So last thing, did you want to plug in our listeners to some of your social media pages, or just maybe any like other projects or any other things you got going on? Would just love like any last thoughts.
Yeah, so my Instagram page is Ruben Knows. It's RubenKnows, Ruben Knows. I have a podcast out with two of my teammates. The podcast is titled One Speed Podcast, but you can find us on Instagram at One Speed ENT. And then you can find us on YouTube at One Speed Entertainment. We have a couple episodes on there, and we have a lot of good things coming up content wise that I feel like people will enjoy if they want to look into behind the scenes of an athlete, and just hear perspectives from college athletes, because everyone's starting a podcast these days.
Yep.
But I think the collegiate athlete side of it, there's not a lot of individuals in that field, and
Yep.
I think we'll be the first ones to really do it big.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, that's how you can reach me. That's how you can reach our podcast page. And yeah, that's about it right there. So
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Ruben.
yeah.
Good luck with camp this season. Really appreciate the conversation again. Really want to appreciate everyone for tuning in for the first episode of the Mindful Athletes podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Alston, signing out.
Appreciate you all. Thank you.